And off we go, guys. Today we're going to do open forum. Open forum means you ask any questions you want related to probate real estate, probate data. It could be anything that's on your mind. I'll do my best to answer it. Obviously, if it's outside of my skill set, like super probate, legal, complicated stuff, I'll refer you to coaching at MTI Education. They always do a good job answering those. But for the most part, I should be able to answer these questions. And if I'm not, 10 out of 10 times, okay, maybe not 10 out of 10, but 9 out of 10 times there's someone on this call who has the answer. So the way you ask questions is you type them in the chat, or you can just say, hey, I have a question, and I can unmute you. It'll be like first come, first serve. So you can ask anything like, what is probate data? How does it work? Or when should I call someone? Or what do I mail out? Or why am I in this business? What day is it today? Anything you want to ask, go ahead. It's open forum Q&A related to probate data. Last week, if you weren't here, we had a great session. And I redid the session again on a Thursday for our UPLC folks. We did how to scrub data. So hopefully you guys caught that last week. If you didn't, go to youtube.com/probate data and rewatch last week's training on how to scrub data. All right, folks, we're doing Q&A here. Okay, Barbara's asking how or what would you say to open the conversation on the phone with a new lead? All right, who's got some good pointers here for Barbara? How would you start a phone conversation with a new lead? Let's say you call someone up, they pick up the phone, they say hello. What do you say? No one's making phone calls here. No one knows what to say. What would you say if you made a phone call and someone actually picked up? Let's say the administrator picked up on a $500,000 home that's right in your neighborhood. What would you say?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Elaine, and I love to help you out. If you let me know what's going on, and are you having any challenges with your probate?
Okay, I like it. It's a good start. There's a big smile on her face. She comes across as sincere. That's a good one. Let's hear some other input. What would you say if the first time you're calling someone, a PR, and they pick up the phone? It's a new lead. Ring, ring. They pick up. They say hello. What do you say? What do you say? Elaine, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm trying my best.
David, go ahead. You unmute yourself. That means you got to say something.
Well, first of all, identify myself. My name's David Bondi. I'm a probate real estate specialist, and I noticed that you're the personal administrator for the estate of so-and-so. And I'm calling to see if there's anything I can do to help you. I have a free booklet that I can send you that will identify the 7 mistakes that the probate administrators generally make, and it's free. I'd be happy to send it to you and answer any other questions you may have.
I like it. There you go.
Contact information also, should you wish to get a hold of me in the future. And if you opt in, you also will receive updates on what's going on with our industry.
Right. There you go. There you go. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. So yeah, introduce yourself, be sincere, and also ask open-ended questions. For example, what seems to be your biggest challenge right now? What do you need the most help with? And just pause, see what they say. Maybe they'll say something like, I don't know who you are, what do you want? Or they might start telling you like, oh, well, I guess my biggest problem right now is the place is a mess. Oh, okay, so what else? Besides that, what else is the biggest problem? Yeah, and I just can't seem to, I don't know where to start,
Well, that's one of my problems. One of my problems is I don't pause. I have a tendency to go on.
Yeah.
And you need to pause to let them answer. Yeah.
Who knows who can complete this this saying? I don't know if it's a saying, but it's been going around in sales forever. There's a reason you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Which is listen more than you speak. So Barbara's asking, so you shouldn't say sorry for your loss. You can. I mean, you feel it out. If they start crying on the phone, of course you can empathize with them. Which I don't know if that's happened for anyone, but It also depends on the relationship. If it's a spouse, if it's a grandson, granddaughter, I mean, you can always say, I'm sorry for your loss, but I don't know you want to lead with that. You want to call with a solution. There's no solution to someone passing away, right? You want to call and say, well, I understand you're in charge of this estate, and I was just wondering what seems to be the biggest challenge right now. And then they'll say, who are you? What do you want? Well, my name is Jonathan. I'm certified in probate real estate, and I take my job very serious. I like to call people in my community who are going through probate, and you happen to be going through probate, and I do such and such market, LA market. Let me ask you, David, what's going on for you right now that's causing you the biggest headache? I might be able to help. I don't want to talk to you. I understand. Maybe this was a bad time. Would it be okay if I call you back another time? No, don't ever call me. You call me in 2 weeks. Hey, it sounds like I got you in a bad time last time we spoke. I don't know who you are. Well, that's exactly why I'm calling, because I feel like last time we didn't really, right? So those are different things you can say. Those are different things, but always like don't get too caught up in the what. Maybe just focus on the how, and also why you're calling, right? It's not so much what am I going to say? What am I going to say? You're going to say whatever you say when you call. You introduce yourself, and then see how you can help. You see how you can help. You say, well, so you told me that the place is a mess. Do you mean like everything's inside or the outside? Do you need trash removal? Do you need a state service? By the way, have you changed the locks recently? Did you know that a lot of times, people will break into homes, so we don't know how many sets of keys are circulating around? Just a little pointer. I got 7 of them. If you want to send them to you, I'm happy to send them over to you. What's a good email address? Did you know as a petitioner or as a PR, you're responsible for the entire state, right? Which is probably why you don't want to make mistakes. Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes it can be difficult depending on what your beliefs are in, say, religion, to not throw that out in a statement or inflection of what, when you're calling someone with condolences. It's just a thought. Depending, you may not believe exactly what they believe or vice versa. I know my neighbor next door they don't believe in anything. You just kind of just go wherever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And my belief system is different than theirs.
Yeah.
And when I talk, because they're working on their estate right now, I think they're waiting for a tree to grow during it, but an oak tree, that is. But not to inflict, or affect my belief systems at them too much. So when you're making those phone calls, sometimes you have to watch what you say in that regard too.
Yeah, I get your point, Scott. I see what you're saying, which makes a lot of sense to me. Talking about belief systems that can be really challenging, which is why if you want to make it a point of sharing your condolences, say sorry for your loss, you can. And I think loss is a loss, no matter what you believe, even if you believe in nothing. You lose someone that's near and dear to you. You experience a loss. A loss is a loss, right? And I think if you call your condolences, you don't want to call and say, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sure they're in heaven now. I'm sure they're in a better place. You don't know that. You don't know what they believe, right? You just swear on losing someone must be difficult, right?
Well, that's where I fell into the trap with the neighbor. And it was cool, but it was like, and then he's like, well, we really don't believe you don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But, everyone's got their whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good comment. Thank you. All right. So Barbara Boucher, the first question was, what do I say on that first call when I talk to someone? Okay. What other questions? This is open forum today. For those of you that showed up a little bit late, we're doing open forum today. You guys can ask anything related to probate data, probate real estate, your accounts, Anything you want to ask, and I'll do my best to either answer it or deflect to someone else.
Is-
Open for, go ahead.
So I'm receiving some data that doesn't have a house in Florida. So it might be a glitch, or what could it be?
Well, if it doesn't have a house, do you mean like it has an apartment or it's a nursing home
No.
or?
The address, even some of them is out of the United States.
Yeah, so maybe sometimes that's a more of a complicated case in that they might have like a permanent residence in their county, or they might have passed away somewhere else, or they might have permanent residence somewhere else, but they passed away in the county. So those are oddball situations, still worth calling on just to see what's going on.
Mhm.
Does that happen most of the time or sometimes for you?
It's happening every time I receive the badge of.
Like out of 100 cases, like do you get 50 of them like that, 10 of them,
No,
5
it's
of
like
them?
the last one was 6 of them.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Well, it's I would focus on the ones that are pretty straightforward. And
Yeah.
if once you've gotten all your listing appointments there and you've got your week booked up with like 20 appointments,
Mhm.
then you can start playing with those oddball ones if you want to give them a call.
All right.
Elaine,
Yes.
if you're finding people with out of country, I know up here in Detroit area, we get a lot of folks from Windsor
Mhm.
that move to Florida, and I know there's a number of folks from Europe. They actually moved to Florida because it's really cheap to live in Florida compared to Europe or Canada,
Yeah.
and they still own property back home in their home country because that's a residence per se.
Mm-hmm.
And they leave it to the estate, because I know a lot of folks who have estates over in Europe inherited through their parents, so on and so forth. So that's where their mailing address could be in Europe, even though they lived here
Right.
or
And
Canada. And
no, I understand. Yeah, I
yeah,
understand that. But the probate data, the data is coming as
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I double check with the taxes. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
in Florida, yes, we have everything here.
Yeah.
A
It's a bit
lot
of
of
a
people move here.
melting pot over there, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's look at some next questions. So Gwen is asking, when should we expect the next batch? So batches are usually, depending on the volume and the county and how much access we have, it's anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Every 2 to 4 weeks, we get another batch out. Some counties is once a month. It all depends on how we batch it all together. Right now, we have a team of about 34 people in total that are out there looking at data, scouring data, entering data. It's a whole tree of people that are working on it. So we try to average it out anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. That's when we get updates and uploads. Let's see, next question here. Edna, I am just getting started after passing my exam, looking at some of these leads, specifically the data filing. Can you go over the 30, 60, 90-day marketing, please? Absolutely, I'd love to. This is a good little recap for those of you that have been with us for a while. And even if you're brand new, this is good too. So generally speaking, these are guidelines, right? So it doesn't mean it's etched in stone, doesn't mean it's immutable. It doesn't mean you have to do it like this all the time. But the way that Mike Torres from MT Education likes to teach is that there's 4 markets, right? And then I would add a 4th one to that one. So there's a 30, 60, 90 day, and then historical prospecting. So I'll go over each one of them. So on average, there are some exceptions to this. Within the first 30 days of filing for probate, the petitioner, administrator, or executor, they're going through kind of discovery phases. They just got appointed for the job. They file a petition. They're waiting to get appointed. They don't know what they don't know, right? So when you talk to them there, you don't want to overwhelm them with too much of like, let's sell your house. You're just like acknowledging where they're at, and you're saying, you can say, if you send a letter out and it's a spouse or it's a close family that's managing, who's a PR, you can acknowledge the loss, or my condolences for your loss. How can I help you, kind of a thing, right? So they're just getting things figured out, and you can say, I'm CPRES. I'm happy to help you navigate the next, several months of this, and I have a timeline I can send you. So it's a different approach, because in the first 30 days, it's like I said, all the paperwork is coming together. They don't know what they don't know. Up to like 30 to 60 days, it's different. Now at this point, they're beginning to see like, oh, you know what, grandpa didn't have that much cash in his checking account, but he had a lot of stocks, but really not enough to cover all the bills and the funeral bills and all that. But his house is paid off and it's worth $800,000. Maybe we should think about selling the house, because between, 3 grandkids and two kids, we need to divide this thing up, right? So now it's beginning into like thinking about, well, what would that look like if we liquidated the house? So that's a different kind of conversation. If you see that if the thing was filed within 60 days, 90 days. Now, again, on average, at this point, they're getting letters from creditors. They're getting asked to pay bills. Heirs are knocking on the door. What's going on? When are we going to get paid? We know grandpa had an $800,000 home and a $200,000 stock portfolio. You're sitting on $1 million. What are you waiting for? Blah, blah, blah. Now the pressure's going up a little bit. So now you can be a little bit more direct about selling the house, how that would benefit them, what their financial goals are, things like that. Now you're meeting them. Basically, these guidelines, 30, 60, and 90, is just for you to kind of meet them where they're at. I once worked with a really gifted coach. He was a personal trainer, and I was helping him with some of his marketing. And one of the key phrases that he stood out for, and he was known for in the Bay Area, he was like I think he was in Oakland. His name was Kevin, and he always said, like, I specialize in people that are anywhere from like severely obese and can barely get out of the chair to fitness nuts. He's like, it doesn't care we don't really care where they're at. He says, we always meet them where they're at. We'll meet you where you're at. Wherever you're at, that's where we'll meet you, and we'll help you get you through the rest. So it's kind of the same here. It doesn't matter where they're at. You just know that if they just filed in the last 30 days or they just filed in the last couple of weeks, that's where they're at. They're just getting their head in the game. That's where you meet them at. If you call them later, like 90 days into it, then that's where they're at. And they're like, I know the game. I know what's expected. Everyone wants to get paid. Let's sell this house, kind of a thing, right? So those are the guidelines. Now, historical leads is basically when you go back in time, say roughly, 18 months, 12 to 18 months, sometimes 24 months, and you look inside of ProbateData, you log into ProbateData, and you do a search. You go back, say 18 to 24 months, and you look there and you see, well, and you look at the sale date. You push the button that says show the last sale date, and we pull that from CoreLogic as of today, not as of 2 years ago, but as of today. And so if you click that, it shows, and we're going to be able to pull on many of them, not all of them. You'll see if the sale date on that property was not within those 18 months, that means the property hasn't sold yet. That's historical prospecting. So it's worth the call. So you call on those people, and you don't want to mail them. You want to call them ideally, because they've been at it for a while, right? They've been at it for a good almost 18 months, and either they didn't sell the property because they didn't have to, and the case is closed. There's nothing there for you to do, or the case might still be open. In which case, in that situation, you want to help them find out, like, what are you going to sell the house or not? What's going on? Because at that point they might be very willing, very motivated to actually get this thing done with once and for all. And the third option is that the property of the decedent at the time of death was not a property they owned. So you might want to check on title as well. So you might want to cross-reference and say, well, the case that the sale date hasn't changed in 2 years. Let me just look title up on this property and see if it's the same as the decedent. If it's the name on title and it's the same as the name of the decedent, and it matches, and it hasn't exchanged in 2 years or 18 months or whatever the case may be, then you definitely want to call up and find out what's going on. So that's what historical prospecting is for. Hockey, I believe that's Clara. If our membership pays for 100 downloads, do I have to upgrade to another package to get more leads than that, or can I purchase them at the time of download? It's a great question. So let me clarify what you guys are getting. And I'll answer your question next. In your membership, right, you get to subscribe. For those of you that are platinum, some of you are still paying the old membership where you don't get this package that I'm talking about right now. But you get 3 counties that you subscribe to, and we email you the leads directly to your inbox. No matter how many leads there are. If there's 500 leads, we send you all of them. If there's 300, we send you all of it. We send you everything, right? So that's what goes into your inbox. And then in addition to that, per your 30-day billing period, you can also download another 100 cases. Those cases, when you log into ProbateData, maybe I'll do that right now. I'll just log into ProbateData. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You log in and then you download. Now, if you want more download, Clara, it goes in increments of 100. So it's another, I believe it's $49 per 100 increase. So let's say if you want another 100, you pay like an extra $49 on top of that. And if you're interested in that, Clara, just email, you can email me, that's fine, info@probatedata.com. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. Some of you are asking, where did I see the sale date in ProbateData? So let me pull that up and then I'll share my screen in just a minute. All right, let's see here. Let me share my screen. So here you see, I went back, this was back in, so I did basically all of January of 2020. So we're about 17 months back, right? And what I can do here is I can click on, you see the last sold, Mia, you see the last sold date here? I just click on show and it starts pulling it up. So here's 1998. So that's a really interesting one. 2006, that's another good one. And then you just kind of go down the list. There's 340 of them. This is kind of like a little bit of playing, a little bit like playing bingo. Like you just kind of look at, well, bingo, here's one. 2013. So this one is of no interest. This is 2021. This one is 2013. So you see what I'm doing here. Let's say I'm done with this. I just hit export and it prepares those 4 cases. I export it out to a CSV or a PDF. And we'll open it up. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And here we are. Here is core logic estimate, last sale dates, year built and all that good stuff. So this is LA County. In LA County, they filed a property value, what they think it's worth. But if you just added these up right here, right, it's $2.4 million worth of listing activity right here. Now, obviously, I'm in a county where the properties are high value, but I imagine throughout the country, you have counties like this. No matter what the county, if you get to get a list of 20 of these going back, 15 to 17 months, and now you start prospecting, you just call them up. Let's see if there's a phone number here. Here you go, phone number, email address. So that's how you do that, Mia. Let's see here. Okay. Vivian, hi, I'm paying around 2 fees. One is 67, the other is 27. Can you please tell me what this covers? Thank you so much. Of course, 67 is for ProbateData, which is what we're doing right now. And 27 is for your CPress community, which gives you access to CPress Facebook, CPress advanced support, gives you a profile on usprobateservices.org as well, and gives you access to the Tuesday calls that we have and also to the Wednesday training calls, coaching calls. So those are your 2 fees, right? 167 is from ProbateData, which is your leads, and 27 is your community that comes from MTI Education. Mia's asking, can I download old ones that don't count against my 100 monthly subscription? Yes, Mia, you can go back and re-download cases that you've previously downloaded. So let's say I just did like 4, right? Let's say I'll come back next week and I download them again. It doesn't count towards my monthly limit. So cases that I've already downloaded, I can re-download as many times as I want. And if you go into click on my account when you're inside ProbateData, you can actually see all your past downloads there. You can always re-download them if you want. Hey, Scott, you're already on it. Great, Scott. Thank you for helping me out today. Mia is asking, what's the $100 monthly fee? Well, Mia, you signed up for everything just out of pure enthusiasm, not knowing what you signed up for. I love it. So the $100 is the UPLC. UPLC is a done-for-you marketing where we built your front-facing website that talks about all the mistakes that PRs make, and then people opt in. They get an ebook for 21 weeks, and we also have Thursday calls for that. Our UPLC master calls are there. So that's the $100 a month you're paying for there. So it's a done-for-you marketing system. We actually have our next UPLC masterclass is every Thursday at 10 a.m. All right, Mia, anything else you're paying is not to us. So you got to ask somebody else why you're paying that money. Yeah, I think that's it. You got all 3 levels of membership. That's awesome. No, there's no way to sort the PDF file. When you say sort, I'm not sure what you have in mind. It's the PDF file. It is what it is in terms of, you know, it's a document that has the case organized on one page, and they're all named based on the case number. Yeah, so Barbara, if you want to look by location, the spreadsheet is the best bet, right? Because then you can go in, you can sort by city, you can sort by zip code, and then you can move forward from there. And then you might even be able to go in and download the cases again as a PDF, the ones that you want. Over the next 3 months, we're actually making some major updates to ProbateData, and I've been taking notes on all your feedback over the last 6 months. So we're going to be adding new interesting features for you guys that will make this even more useful than it is already. All right, we have time for one more question. Vivian is asking, can I get an email with the things that the $27 covers, please? Yes. You know what, Vivian? Here's what's going to work really fast and much better. And I'm not trying to like sidestep the question, but I know after I hang up here, if I forget, it's not going to get done. So I want you to get the answer that you're looking for. Email support@MTI Education and just say, what's the $27 for? And 1 or 2 things will happen. Either it's going to get routed to Denise, who answers all these questions. And if she doesn't see it, then I'm on the second level, I get pinged, then I'll answer it. That way you will get an answer for sure. Of course, you got it, Vivian. Murphy is asking, are we able to bring our assistant on these calls? Yeah, of course, sure, bring him in. The more the merrier, you know. If you have someone that you want to train them on how to use the system, you can either have them watch our YouTube channel, which is on youtube.com/ProbateData, or they can join us here. It's totally fine. Totally fine. All right, folks, that's it for today. Any other questions? Questions, comments, hallucinations? Keep that last one to yourself. All right, folks, thank you so much for showing up today. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next week. This will be up on ProbateData YouTube channel in the next couple hours. Be well, stay safe, and keep washing those hands, regardless of COVID's around or not. It's just good manners, right? Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.